Hello, today I'm going to be using Google Forms to create a request a catalogue form that you can embed in your blog or share via a URL. I'm using Blogger, but the embed process is similar no matter the blog platform that you're using. Also, you can tailor the fields and questions that you add to your form so that you can use it for various different purposes. For example, you could use it to collect information from your customers for an event registration or perhaps for an online class. I'm logged in to my test blog here, and you can see that I'm logged into my Google account, and that's important because Google Forms is just another subsection of your same Google account. So to get there for the first time, I'm just going to go to Google and Google Forms, or Google Form, and it's going to be the first hit. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and it gets me through to Google Forms. Of course, you can now bookmark that or remember that URL for the future. You do not need to have Google's paid for G Suite subscription to use this tool. It's within the free package as well, so I'm just going to click to go to Google Forms. As you can see, it has automatically logged me into my Google account in this tab because I was already logged in before I started. As you can see on the dashboard, we've got some sample forms that we could adapt or edit, but I'm just going to start from scratch so that we can see the whole process. So I'm going to click on the blank option here. First thing you're going to want to do is put a sensible title. This will help you distinguish it in your dashboard and of course be useful for your visitors. So nothing's more complicated than request a catalogue. Okay, and if I just click up here, it's going to update that for me, so that will show on my dashboard. And just to point out this bit here, it saves all the changes for you automatically. So that's why there's no save button visible, so you don't have to go looking for it. Now, if you're embedding this form on your blog, of course you can add additional supplementary information around the form. However, if you want to use the same form and share it via a URL, you're going to want to make sure that all of the required information is contained within this form. That's where the form description comes in handy. So I'm going to start with a very simple instruction, which is, if I can type properly, please fill out this form to this form to receive copies of the current catalogues. Okay, you might think of other additional information that you want to add here. For example, in Europe, we're only allowed to sell Stampin' Up! In certain countries, so you might want to add a list there so that people are aware of that. Okay, so I now need to add my first question. First thing I want to ask is their name. Okay, and you can see it's a pretty clever tool because it recognizes that the probable answer that I need for that field is a short answer. Okay, it gets it right most of the time. Obviously, if you do want to switch it, you just need to click on the arrow button and you can see all of the different form fields that there are available. You can do an awful lot with Google Forms. Okay. The other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that this form is filled out by everyone who fills out my form. So I want to switch on the fact that it's a required field. Okay, so everyone will have to fill out their name, which is useful. Okay, I want to add another question because I, of course, also need to know their address. So, full address including country and postcode. Again, give them a bit more information. Make sure that they've got the best chance of giving you all the information that you need to fulfill their request straight away. Okay, so you see that this has now decided that the probable reply is going to be long answer text, and that's right. You don't want it to be a short answer because it won't let them fill out their full address. Again, I'm going to want to make this required because I need that information. I haven't asked for their email address yet. While I technically don't need an email address to send them a catalogue, it might be useful to have it. Obviously, if they made a mistake in their address or you wanted to double check, maybe the postcode didn't look quite right or something similar, or they were in the wrong country and you just wanted to send them a message to apologize to say that you couldn't actually send them a catalogue, it might actually be useful for you to be able to respond with them. Obviously, if you're using the form for something else, that email might be crucial information for you. So I need to add another field, and I'm going to start typing email. And again, I said it was a clever tool. So what it's given me here is the option to enable the email collection setting. Okay, a little help icon will give you more information if you need it. But that's a good thing to do, because what it does is it creates a field that requires a valid email address to be put in. Okay, that field does jump to the top of your form and you can't move that around, but I don't think that's a problem. Any of the other fields you can just drag and drop into position. Okay, but obviously having the name first probably makes a little bit more sense. Okay. Now, given that for 2/3 of the year we actually have more than one catalogue available, you might want to ask which catalogue they are requesting. Perhaps they've already got an annual catalogue from the launch in June, and now it's come to January and we've got the mini catalogue, and you only want to send them a mini catalogue if that's the one they need. Okay, they might have got an annual catalogue from another demonstrator, so you can check that by asking them another question. So we'll add another field, and we're going to actually switch this from being multiple choice to being checkboxes. Okay, multiple choice will only let people select one answer, whereas a checkbox type question will let them choose multiples. Okay, so checkbox it is, and simply which catalogues would you like? Okay, I need to add my options, so option 1 is the annual catalogue, can't spell that, and then option 2 is our mini catalogue, as we are now in January. Or is it spring summer? Not sure. Let's just leave it as the mini catalogue for now. Okay, so I have my 3 fields, and it's about time I have a look at how my form's looking. So I've got this preview option at the top here. I'm just going to use that, and it's going to open another tab. And you can see my form makes sense completely, and you could of course share this straight away, but I'm going to make some edits to it just to make it kind of fit in a bit better with my branding and, well, my test blog. So I'm going to go back to make some more edits, and I want to make some changes to the theme. You can't customize it entirely, but you can make some changes. So if I click that button, it opens up my theme options. Okay, and the main thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this color. Okay, you might not be a fan of purple. I'm actually going to, I've got Bermuda Bay saved here. I'm just going to copy that hex code, and then because it's not one of these colors, I don't like sticking to the actual colors they give me. I want to use one of my Stampin' Up colors, so I'm going to put that hex code into that box, and I'm going to add it, and that then should be remembered for when I create other forms as well. Okay, you'll see that it's then my form is all Bermuda Bay and shades of. Okay, the other thing you can do is you can change the font style. You can't choose the font precisely, but you can change the font style. And if you look here, if you kind of consider what's on offer, basic is probably the most professional one, so that's the safest to go with. You'll see there's an option to add an image for the header. Now, what that is just this darker area here, this kind of the full Bermuda Bay color, could be replaced by an image. Now, you could add something that adds to your branding there, but you'd have to play with the sizes to get it right, and it might not actually fit with your logo and what you've got. So leaving it as just a color that maybe kind of coordinates or doesn't clash with your blog is probably the best bet. So I'm going to close my theme options. Okay, and again, I'm going to just hop back to my other tab where my preview was, and I'm going to update my preview. Okay, you've also got the edit button right on this tab, so if you lost that tab for some reason, you could get back to it by clicking to edit there. Okay, I can do something a bit fun with these fields down here, because we sometimes forget that people who are new to Stampin' Up don't really know what our catalogues look like, so we could add images there if we wanted to. Adds a bit of extra interest to our form. So I'm going to click to add an image, and you see I get a dialog window here. I can upload an image that I've saved to my computer, or I can add it by a URL. Now I happen to have the images ready. Here's one I prepared earlier. Okay, so I'm just going to grab that URL and I'm going to pop it in that box. So it's just the same as uploading it from your computer. I just don't have the files on this laptop to do that right now. So I'm going to select that image, and as you can see, it's going to load it into my form. It's thinking. There we go. Okay, so that's the annual catalogue. And then I of course need to add the same for the mini catalogue. We can't leave that one out. So again, I'm just going to grab that URL for my image that I've got stored and post that in there. And there we go. And again, all my changes have been saved. So to see what it looks like, I just hop back to my preview, refresh that page, and you'll see that I've got my nice images to go along with my checkboxes. And you can see that I can select both, or I can just select one. Okay. Now we've created our form, we want to just double check a few of our settings to make sure, I don't need that one for now, to make sure that everything's going to work as we expect. So if you look at the responses section, okay, I've had no responses. Doesn't that make sense? I haven't published it yet. Okay, but my form is definitely switched to accepting responses. At any point, you could kind of pause the form by turning this off. Okay, but I want to make sure that it's switched on. Okay, this is where you come to download all of your responses. Okay, you can actually click this and you can, as it says, create a spreadsheet of all of your responses. Okay, that's easier than perhaps getting the addresses from individual emails. Okay, and talking about email responses, you actually need to switch on that feature if you want to receive an email whenever anyone submits your form. To turn on that setting, you want to go to this menu here, okay, and click to get email notifications of new responses. Okay, and again here you can download all responses as a spreadsheet file. What you can also do, as you can see, is to minimize the amount of storage of responses on the Google form. You could download the responses and then delete all the responses that are left within this form once you know that you've got that download form. Okay, this obviously these email notifications are going to come through to the email that is linked to your Google account. Okay, but it's worth double checking that. Obviously you're going to test out the form when you've finished, so you can see that those email responses definitely come back to you. Okay, so that's that. There's one other menu that we haven't looked at here, which is the settings menu. So I'm just going to open that quickly to show you what's going on here. So this is that collecting email option that we switched on. Again, we could remove it from the form if we wanted to here. And of course this bit here you can enable if you want to, and as it says, it's got a question mark to tell you what it does anyway. If you enable this option, it means that the person who submitted the form actually gets a copy of their submission as well. But seeing as this is a pretty simple one, that might not be appropriate, but you might have times when you want to use that one. Okay, but that's all we need to do for this one. There are various options here which you can do a lot more with for different types of forms, but that's for another time. Okay, so I'm just going to save those settings. Right, now I have my form. I want to get it into my blog. All the options for sharing your form are hidden under this send button. That confused me when I first started. So if you click send, you'll see that you could send this to different recipients by email, or you could actually share directly to Facebook or Twitter from this window. What we've got here are other options here. We've got a link option or an embed option. So if we start by looking at the link option, because we could use this to get our form onto our blog. If we click the link, okay, a bit of a long and unwieldy link here, but they're offering to shorten it for us, so we may as well do that. That's a bit nicer to deal with, and we're going to copy that. And you'll see that to open my form, all I need to do is then paste it into a tab, and it opens my form. Now at the minute, because I'm logged in, it's still giving me the option to go and edit the form. That won't be there for anyone that's not editing, that's not logged in. Okay, and this bit will look slightly different, but we'll look at that right at the end. Okay, but I could use this link to put my form into my blog page or a blog post. So I'm going to hop back to Blogger. I'm going to go into my request a catalogue page that I've already created. And as I said, the first way I could put it in is I could just put a clickable link into any blog post or page. So I'm going to add the text, okay, which is request a catalogue, and I'm in the visual editor here. That's why I've got lots of tools available. I'm going to use the link tool, and all I'm going to do is put that link in there and click OK, and then that's going to be a clickable link within my blog post. Okay, so if I publish this, So you see this is my page all ready to go. Okay, I've got a request a catalogue link. Okay, and it takes me to the form. Okay, again, I'm still logged in, so don't worry about that edit button. I'm just going to go back to my page. Okay, but people do then have to click another link and they get taken to another place. It's a bit tidier if you embed the form in to your blog post. So we get rid of that link, hop back to our share options, and we want to click this code icon to get the iframe embed code. Okay, so if you click on the code and click copy, it's been copied to your clipboard. Hop back over to Blogger. Now this time you need to switch to the text editor by clicking the HTML button. You see a lot of those options go, and then I'm going to paste that code in, and if I hop back to the visual editor, you'll see that my form's there. Okay, now this is a bit of a problem because this means that there's going to be an extra scroll bar on my iframe within my blog post, which is a bit messy really. It's because I've put too much in here with these images. Okay, but it's easily fixed. Hop back. Okay, and you see that there's the height of the iframe here, and it's too short because that bar is there to scroll down to show the rest. So I'm just going to put a much bigger number in there. I'm just guessing. Okay, and then I'm going to copy that code again. Go back to my page, switch back to HTML, delete what was there, paste it in again. Okay, if I hop back to the visual editor, you'll see that that ugly bar is gone. If I update this, now my page is updated, and if I refresh it, you'll see that my form is embedded within my page, and you'll see I changed the color and it kind of coordinates quite nicely, so that's why I went to that extra step. Now, there is a problem, or a slight issue maybe, with viewing this screen on mobiles. Now this might be less of a problem if you're using a different blogging platform from Blogger, but on Blogger the mobile view is often very different. Now you can check this out before you go to all this extra effort simply by opening up this page on your mobile and just seeing what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to try and replicate that here for you now. So I've got the mobile version here, so it doesn't have the sidebar and some of the other bits on it. Okay, I'm just going to refresh it so you see that it shows my form. Okay, so there's no problem with that, but I'm just going to pop this out so that I can make this screen smaller to kind of mimic the fact that a mobile screen is a lot narrower. And as you can see, your form is getting cut off. Now if that annoys you, we can fix it. If it doesn't annoy you, that's fine, leave it. Okay, people will be able to scroll, but it might just be a bit kind of annoying, especially if you've got longer sentences here or longer questions, but we can fix that. Now pop that back. Okay, so we're going to go in and we're going to edit the code. So we're going to hop back to our edit option. We're going to go to our HTML, to our text editor, and we're going to look for the width of the iframe at the end. Okay, the number might be different, but there's always going to be something there saying width. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take that number out. I'm going to replace it with 95%. Okay, and then I'm going to update. And if you look at my form on the desktop version of my blog, it's going to look very much the same. It's a little bit narrower because what I've done is I've told the form that it's only allowed to take up 95% of the width. It's going to be more obvious if I go to the mobile version. So if I refresh the mobile version, there we go, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to pop it out so that I can make it nice and narrow as if it was a mobile screen. Okay, and then if I make it narrow, if you notice now I take it down to a narrower screen and the form automatically shrinks. Okay, so that's a nice kind of way of making your iframe responsive and making it a little bit tidier. But if I lost you when I started talking about code, don't worry, your form will still work even if you don't want to go to this little extra step at the end. Right, I'm going to pop that back there. Now I'm just going to double check. Remember that link I told you about that still had that edit button? Let's just double check what it looks like once I've logged out of all my Google account. So let's just close all those down. Okay, I'm going to go back to my form. I'm going to go back to this link that I can share, and I'm going to copy it again just to make sure because the code's on my clipboard. So now I've got the link on my clipboard instead. I'm going to log out. Apologies if this takes a minute. It's thinking. I think it'd be quicker to log out. But there we go. Okay, I'm logged out. So now if I open another tab and I just paste that link into that Google form, you can see that that edit bit is gone, and because I didn't put in a header option, it's kind of taken out that space to make my form fit on the page a bit better. Okay, so there we go. Hopefully you found that helpful. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch, either leave a comment or connect with me through the Facebook group, or send me a message, and I will do my best to help you with any questions that you have. Thank you for watching. Bye.